Wow, I bet that woke everybody up. Lord have mercy. Oh my. Well, hopefully Pat will be joining us. We've been having some technical difficulties because of the storm that went past Pat's place last night, and I guess it's knocked out a bunch of stuff, and so he's having a few issues this morning. Uh, I keep seeing icons on my little screen here coming and going, so apparently he's uh, he's having some problems. Well, let's see. We get rid of that little echo we had going there. All right, everything should be ready to rock here. Um, Oh my goodness. Well, the weather here in Indiana is pretty today. I've been out and mowed the yard, cut me off some lettuce, and made me a little salad for brunch this morning. And so right now I'm kind of hanging around here waiting for Pat to come in. I've done sent him the link, and hopefully that'll do it. I've been trying to figure out how to add him here in the Google thing, and I'm not having a whole lot of luck with this because there's about a dozen different Pat Armstrongs, and I don't know what icon he's using on the program that he's in. And I hate to invite a stranger in here that I don't know. I mean, you know, I'm all for meeting people and such, but not necessarily on the air on our first day on the show. So we're just waiting to see if Pat can catch up to us. If he doesn't catch up here in a couple of minutes, I will back out of this, and we will we'll probably have to start a new link or something to see what happens. But we got a lot of updates on the Orlando ordeal that we'd like to report to you. There's some things that ISIS has said, and article that we come across from Zero Hedge that we'd like to mention, and probably a lot more that Pat's got. There's another article of somebody that witnessed a second person that was involved in the shooting. So, well, gosh, far. Pat, I wish you could join us. I wonder if you're watching or listening. I'm not seeing anything in the chat room from him. My goodness. Well, okay, he's telling me go ahead and run with it. Pat, can you type in the chat room if you're able to join the show? Or are you having some technical difficulties there? I'll keep watching the chat here before I get going and just turn loose on everybody. They're going to wonder what hit them when I turn loose. I'm not seeing nothing in the chat. All right, well, I'll just go ahead and run with it. I'll give you what I've got. It may not be no 2-hour show today because I'm pretty much to the point. When I lay it out, I lay it out, and there it is, and like it or not, and that's how it is. But the first thing I will report on is that Alex Jones last night said that ISIS come out and said that there are 6 cities that they will be hitting in the month of Ramadan. And one was Orlando. There's also New York City, LA, San Francisco, Boston, and Miami. So that is something definitely to keep in mind because they've done prove that they can kill a whole bunch of people in one spot. Then let's see, we had an article, and I will try to pull that up here and report on that one. It was something that I come across this morning out of a local news channel, and let's see, I believe this one might be it. Yes, this is it. It says it was updated at 10:13 last night. It is from a local news station in Dayton, Ohio, and they got it from Superstation 95 in New York City. And it says Omar Mateen, who murdered 50 people at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando this morning, did not act alone. At least one additional male perpetrator assisted in the attack by holding the door, or the exit door, shut so victims could not get out. As an eyewitness named Janelle, which is a male, who was inside the club at the time of the attack, personally saw this other individual holding the door shut and reported this fact on national television. But as soon as he uttered the information that there was another man holding the door shut to prevent people from leaving, the news network cut off his interview. Imagine that. It says the important thing to take away from the breaking news is that the narrative being presented to the public is a lone gunman. It is not true. This was clearly a planned attack, and at least one additional perpetrator participated, holding the exit door shut to prevent victims from escaping. So that is the one article that I found very interesting. And then, let's see, there was the one from, I believe this is the Zero Hedge article. Yes, indeed it is. Orlando killer works for company transporting illegal immigrants inside the U.S. and was interviewed by the FBI 3 times. A surprising discovery, the Palm Beach Post first reported that, according to the state records, Orlando shooter Omar Mateen, who was, as we reported earlier, was licensed as a security guard and also holds a firearms license, was employed by the U.S. subsidiary of G4S PLC, a British multinational security services company whose U.S. headquarters are located in Jupiter, Florida, and which also, well, let's see, that just kind of zipped right away from me. Where did it go? Try that again. I guess you're only allowed to be on there just so long, and it'll flip it right away from you. And I lost my place on it. Anyway, in other words, Mateen, who according to preliminary reports had been on a terrorist watch list and who still managed to obtain weapons thanks to his various licenses and permits just last week, was employed by one of the world's largest security companies, where he may have had extensive clearances well above his pay grade, not to mention access to sophisticated military weapons and equipment. Now, what in the world? I know that they're all about this political correctness, and they don't want to profile and all, but what in the world? I'd like to know who allowed that to happen. Who was in charge of putting him in that position? They need to be held accountable. I mean, that just stymies my imagination, and I got pretty good imagination, but that just blows me away. Let's see. I have made another note here. If I can read my notes. Let's see. Yeah, he worked for this situation where he was transporting illegal immigrants inside the U.S. and was interviewed by the FBI 3 times. And you mean that they could interview him 3 times and they didn't pick up on the fact that he was a radical Muslim? This is the FBI, the same FBI that was out in Oregon creating havoc for the Patriots. The Patriots, they apparently are total radicals. But this guy is allowed to work for a company where he has access to military weapons. Has the whole bunch gone nuts? And who in the world allows this kind of thing to oh, well, excuse me. I forgot who's in the White House. I forgot who's supposed to be in charge of this. My goodness. Why hasn't he been impeached? Where's our Congress? Where's our Senate? Oh, I forgot. They're in the counting house counting out their money from all the raises that they vote for themselves on our tax dollars. They're too busy voting themselves raises and fiddling around to keep track of what's going on in the country. That's why, just as I said last night, and I'll keep repeating it, I will keep repeating it and beat that dead horse into the ground. We as the citizens, we as the taxpayers have got to get control of the people that we have elected into office in our states, in our districts, and let them know that we are paying attention. They don't think we're paying attention. They're just doing as they please. It's like, you know, you turn a bunch of kids loose and say, now you go out and play. And the next thing you know, one of them's in trouble because nobody's been watching them. You got to watch. I am appalled at the things that I keep seeing going on in this nation because the driver is asleep at the wheel. The car has done run off the road, through the ditch, out across the field, into the creek. This is insanity, what is going on. And the only way that we're going to tame this is if we, the people, we the ones that have the common sense, we the ones that do not want this to go on, get control of it. I don't know that I have a whole lot to add to this. I'm kind of looking over here at the chat room to see if anybody else has anything going on. I'm not seeing anything actually that is going on in the news besides this. And I've got to wonder, okay, while this is going on, while the Orlando ordeal has gone on and the whole nation is staring at Orlando, what else is going on? What are they doing behind closed doors? What executive orders are being written now, being drawn up? What kind of foolishness are they coming up with to take more rights away from us besides taking our guns? I mean, they have that down pat, that they think they're going to take our guns away from us because of this. And we're going to have make it known that, no, that's not happening. And you're going to have to forget that little scenario. I don't know what their next move will actually be, if they'll try to take the ammo. If you have weapons, you might want to start thinking about getting a reloader, learning how to reload your own rounds, because you may not be able to buy them. Who knows what they're going to come up with. It's absolutely insane what that bunch happens to come up with every time you turn around. So, I don't know. I mean, I can go over here and look and see if there's anything on Rutgers. Maybe they've come up with something else, or, you know, some new news, breaking news, whatever. What's coming up on Rutgers is the authorities probe whether or not anyone helped gunman at the nightclub rampage. Well, I think we've already heard that, yes, there was somebody that assisted him in that. I wonder how long it'll take them to round somebody up that they're going to say helped him. And then Obama calls the Orlando nightclub shooting an attack on all Americans. Yes, it was. And what's he going to do about it? Take our guns away so we can't protect ourselves. I don't see a whole lot besides that. Well, the U.S. Senate Democrats discussing new gun control push. That's on Rutgers. Powerful Saudi prince to meet Obama. Ban on the U.S. visit. CIA chief expects release of 9/11 documents to clear Saudi Arabia. And they've had time to doctor them, ain't they? U.S. top courts reject American Samoan birthright citizenship bid. In world news, we've got Iraq makes arrests over reports of Sunnis executed in Fallujah. Feed people, not wars, Pope says in address to UN Food Agency. Pope's been laying low for a little while. Now all of a sudden he's popping back out of the Pope box. Feed people, not wars. Well, he wants us to feed the illegal immigrants, don't he? I mean, we're shipping them in here by the boatloads and giving them money while we can't fund the EBT cards that people have. We can't take care of our veterans. We can't take care of our homeless. We can't take care of the children, the orphans in the world or in the United States, but we can sure bring in illegal immigrants. I don't know if anybody saw the story. I saw it on Facebook this morning about the 5 young men in Essex, England, where the illegal immigrants, a couple young men, squirted them in the faces with acid. And all of them are maimed. Just horrific scars going to be on those boys from getting squirted in the face with acid. I guess they was waiting to get on a subway bus or something, and these guys come up and just squirted them in the face with acid, jumped on the bus, and left them standing there with acid dripping off their faces. I mean, they caught the ones that's responsible for it, but how many others are running loose that's going to pull it next? And how long before something like that happens here? I mean, it's got so you can't walk down the street no more without being afraid of some nut going to do something to you that's been shipped in here against our wishes. When is it that the elected officials in this country start taking notice of what it is that the American people want? I don't think they're going to take notice of it until we stand up and let them know that we're paying attention. Pat, are you with us?
I think I got it figured out.
Hot dog.
Sorry about that. Oh my God.
That's okay. This is how we learn.
Monday morning.
By the way,
Go ahead.
I tried to call you a while ago, but your phone is not working. I don't know if you were aware of that or not, but just so you know, your phone is not working. And
that doesn't surprise me.
There's one more thing for you to fix, I guess. But yeah, I've been holding down the fort while you figured out how to get in here. And so have you been listening at all? Do you know any of the stuff that I've mentioned to the folks?
You've been doing a fabulous job, sweetie. I've been listening while I've been trying to figure this stuff out. So, yeah, you've been doing fabulous. I'm proud of you.
Well, that's because I'm perfect in every way.
Yeah. Excuse me. You got to rub that perfectness off on me for a little bit here, you know?
Well, Mama always said there wasn't no conceit in our family because I had it all.
Wow. Yeah, so what you're still covering on this Orlando thing, right?
I've been talking about the Orlando thing, just bringing them up to speed about the 6 cities that are supposed to be hit according to ISIS. And I told them about the Zero Hedge article where they found out that dude worked for that company that transported illegals in here and interviewed by the FBI 3 times. I mean, there's some other things that I could have brought up. There was some cleric that stated that, shoot, I don't know. I had it up here a little bit ago. Let's see. Gays must die, says the speaker at an Orlando mosque. and that is an article that actually it's a video that's on the United West on YouTube. So anybody wants to see that, they can go over there and take a look at that. It's 2.5 minutes long.
Right.
I guess it don't take very long for them to tell us they want to kill us, does it?
No. We got to make a change though. It should be reading 49 victims massacred and 1 dirtbag killed instead of the 50, because they added him into that death total.
Well, that figure's liable to change before the day's out, because they said that some of those folks that were shot probably are not going to make it. So, you know, I hope they do. I hope they're able to survive this. But, you know, we're liable to see a larger toll before it's all said and done.
Correct. You know what's interesting is that they had him under, they interviewed him back in 2013 and 14. And I found excuse me, where a former co-worker, Dan Gilroy, said to a newspaper in Orlando that he often talked about killing people and had a very hatred of gays, blacks, women, and Jews. If that ain't a red flag, I don't know what is.
Yeah, see, they turn them loose. They listen to all this kind of thing, and it's just saying, okay, you're throwing red flags all over the place, and we don't trust you. We're going to lock you up. I'm not even saying deport them. If they're showing signs that they're going to be killing people, it's time to lock them up and do something about it.
Yep. And then the father, which is kind of interesting. Well, he didn't like the idea of 2 men kissing, and then he goes on another news outlet. Well, I just don't understand why my boy did it. I don't know why. Excuse me, what did you just say earlier? So there's a lot of contradictories there, I think.
Well, yes, but those are kind of minor details in the grand scheme of things. I mean, bottom line is he's a radical Muslim. He wanted to kill people.
Yep.
He is. I don't know. I mean, I've heard debates on both sides of the aisle on whether it is false flag or not a false flag. Chances are it probably is, because of the mass scale of it, and because of the gun control issues, because of the fact that they knew everything about him right off the bat. It didn't take 3 hours after the whole thing was said and done that all the information poured out on him. And yet, you hear other murders and it takes days, weeks, a long time before you get all the facts on it. They had the article where they were hiring crisis actors just a couple days before it went down. So, it's kind of pointing toward the idea that it was some kind of a false flag. That I think one of the biggest things that pointed out to me is the FBI interviewed this dude 3 times. They knew all about him. You just quoted stuff that they knew about him, and yet they let him run free. And this happens. I mean, that tells me that, okay, it's a false flag. They knew he was going to do it. They turned him loose to do it.
Well, my thought on this is, look who we have running our government right now. And he's an undercover Muslim. He won't come out and say it. So he does everything that he can to protect the Muslim faith. Him, Loretta Lynch, they all do. Look at what Loretta Lynch said. If you come out against and talk about the Muslim faith, or you talk negative, or any of that stuff, we are going to come after you. We're going to charge you. We're going to do this to you. We're going to do that to you. So these people are protected by this White House, there's no more to be said about it. I mean, look what do we actually know on these Syrian refugees that are coming in here? Do we know who they are, where they came from? Where's the paper trail? Where did they go? You see what I'm saying? So they're protected by this government, and the people of Christian faith are the ones that are being ridiculed. And I think that's a crock, and I'm sorry, it's a crock. The more I read about this and more that I'm finding out about this ISIS, do you know ISIS took responsibility and cheering this on?
Yes.
Saying, Yahoo! Really? So they're protected. So they're going to turn the other cheek when it comes to these type of threats. And that's because of what we have running our government right now.
Well, Pat, we arm these people. I mean, you know, we have been boxing up weapons and sending them overseas for these people for years now. Russia just asked us, hey, help us fight this. Come and join us. Help us fight this. And Washington said, no, I don't think so. You know, Washington has turned their back on the American people.
Yes.
I want to know why in the world, maybe I'm missing a big picture here, but used to be, if you wanted to come into this country, you did it legally, you went through the right channels, you filled out the appropriate paperwork, you got your sponsor, you got your job, you got your housing, and you filled in your time, you could get citizenship, you know, this was the land of opportunity. Why is it that we have to allow illegals in here? Why can't they come in here legally? Why do we owe them the opportunity to just walk in here, waltz in? I mean, okay, let's say this. Let's say that I decide all of a sudden that I'm just going to go across the street and walk in the neighbor's house and help myself to their victuals in their refrigerator. And I'm going to go in, put my feet up on their coffee table, reared back on their couch, turn on their TV, get potato chip crumbs all over their couch, use their telephone, make some long distance calls, and they can't do anything about it.
Let me ask you something. Do you think he acted alone?
Hell no, he didn't act alone.
And it's being hush-hush because of a report that was on Facebook and everywhere else, but mainstream media ain't covering it, where supposedly there was an individual holding the door shut so nobody can get out.
Yeah, I read that article to him a little bit ago while we was waiting for you to get in. You know, as soon as that guy told it, buddy, they shut the media down on him, wasn't going to let him say nothing else. And I told you yesterday in Hangouts that I thought I had read something in all the mass stuff that I was going over about the Orlando shooting, that somebody had brought up that there was someone else involved, and I couldn't find it again. So whatever it was that I read, either I totally lost track of it or it had been taken down. But yes,
Right.
There was somebody else involved in that. He didn't walk in there all by himself. He had help.
And if you go back,
and he probably had more than one helping him.
Well, you've got that cleric that was there back in April talking on how gays need to be shot, killed, and you shouldn't be embarrassed about it. So that mosque where that cleric was, is radical, allowing this type of individual to go in there and talk like this. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I tend to agree. He didn't act alone. He had help in this. Dogs run in a pack. This was the kid. He wasn't, what was he, 29, did they say?
Yes, 29 years old.
Yeah, I mean, he's a young adult, but basically still a kid, and he didn't pull that off all by himself. He had help.
There ain't no doubt in my mind he had help. So there's going to be more coming out in the next few days, and it's going to be interesting to even dig deeper to see what's really going on. And then you had that other incident out in Pasadena where they came across this guy from Indiana that had chemicals, guns, and all that. And I guess it was the gay parade, gay rights parade, whatever it is they did out there in Pasadena.
Yeah, Alex Jones had come up with this article last night that ISIS said that they're going to hit New York, Orlando, LA, San Francisco, Boston, and Miami before Ramadan is over. Ramadan ends on July the 5th. So I have no doubt in my mind that the thing they found out there in Pasadena, that was probably, part of this deal. It got foiled, but that don't mean, there's so many of them that it doesn't mean that they're not going to come up with some other plan of attack in that same basic area. It'll just be, they'll pick up maybe a different venue, or who knows, maybe another nightclub, maybe maybe a theater or a mall or car bomb, or Lord only knows, what kind of foolishness that they'll think up next to try to kill more people, take more lives, all for their radical beliefs. This is just a sad state of affairs all the way around, that we've allowed this kind of thing to come into the country.
I think we need to I might reach out to Jeremy and see if I can get him on the show with us either tomorrow or sometime this week, because he's out in California. So, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on out there that's not being reported in the mainstream media.
Yeah, Jeremy's awesome. I didn't see him when he was live last night. I caught the show later, but yeah, he did one heck of a job with his show. I was really impressed. Yeah, and I just read what he wrote up there about don't take it for being weak out there in L.A. I know. I don't think there's. I don't think that there are very many Americans that are weak. I think a lot of them feel overwhelmed. I think a lot of them feel helpless with the government doing the things that they're doing, because more and more you hear, "I'm just one person. I'm just one person." If that just one person finds out that they're not just one person, that they're part of a group that really cares what happens to the country, I think that there'll be more banding together.
Then there's another issue I got to talk about, because it kind of really irritates me. There's a petition going around out there in California, and Jeremy's there, from Stanford University, where this Brock Turner raped a woman, and he got 6 months. A 6-month sentence because his father or somebody was friends with the judge. So,
I'd have to say then that probably the Bundys and Pete and all of our political prisoners should have, maybe before they decided that they were going to get involved in the situation out in Burns, they might have been thinking about they needed to make friends with the judge. What do you think?
Yeah, they would have been out by now.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Yeah, let's all go make friends with the judge in our communities, and that way we can do whatever we please. And we come up before the judge, and he just smacks us on the wrist and says, now, you shouldn't have done that, and turns you loose.
Yeah. It's crazy. You
Yeah, I
know,
read
but
over here where Jeremy said that he'd like to do a remote maybe from Pasadena, Hollywood, or something for us. And hey, while I'm thinking about it, before I forget, because you know you and I both suffer from CRS. So before I forget, I'm going to tell everybody that we do have an email address, and you can get in touch with us. If you want to write it down, it's LHN13616 at gmail.com. And in case you need to know or want to know or are wondering, curious, the 13616, 13th day, 6th month, 2016. 13616. I picked that number for the email because that's mine and Pat's anniversary, see, and he'll not forget our anniversary if I put it on the email account. LHN 13616 at Gmail. And if you don't remember it, if you don't have a pencil handy to write it down and you want to get in touch with us, all you have to do is go to our channel, LHN News with Pat and Brenda, and hit the About tab up there at the top of the screen. And that'll bring up a little page there, and the email should be right there for you. You might have to click a button to get the email, whatever. But that's how you can get in touch with us if you need to talk to us. You know, we're both usually in Hangouts. I'm usually on my other mail account. It's Brenda Gibson, and my pictures, there's two different pictures. The one where I'm wearing the black jacket is the one that I'm usually on most. So you'll know how to get in touch with me there on Hangouts if you need to. But yeah, I wanted to mention that, Pat, before we both forget it again.
yeah, more dates and everything else I got to try to remember. Crap. Just keep adding more stuff on. Well,
it's good for you, Pat. It'll keep you young.
Yeah, right. So there's a couple of things I want to focus. I found something really interesting. CBSNews.com did a poll on the heaviest armed citizens in the state. And they did a top 53, but I only wrote down the top 10 because I thought it was very interesting. Number 10 is Louisiana. Number 9 is Alaska. Number 8 was Nevada. Number 7 was Alabama. Number 6 was Idaho. Number 5 was Virginia. Number 4, New Mexico. Number 3, Arkansas. Now, this is going to be the kicker. The heavy, just put this in your head now, the most populated armed citizens in a state, in a single state. And this is going to be a laugher for everybody. Number 2 was the District of Columbia. Number 1 was Wyoming. So what do you think?
Interesting. Where did they get their figures for this?
I'm assuming, I guess the permits, I guess you can go in to the FBI vital statistics or something like that.
Well, okay. Then,
where I'm from in South Dakota, we were ranked 22nd. Indiana's ranked 13th. Figure that one out.
Well, I think that their figures are askew because they're not counting all the weapons that are not registered.
Uh-huh. I just found it interesting. Number 2 was the District of Columbia. I think that really, like, okay. Interesting.
Well, does that ring the old adage of before you go casting stones at everybody else, you need to, clean your own house up?
Uh-huh.
Washington, D.C. wants to take everybody's guns away from them, but they're sitting there with, with rank number 1. They can't even start at home. They can't say, okay, here in the District of Columbia, you know, they've done it in Chicago.
Go figure, right?
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Yeah, they
I've been
use
doing a lot.
Chicago. They use Chicago as a testing ground, and now there are more murders per capita up there in Chicago than there is anywhere else, I think, in the United States, other than
Uh,
maybe Washington, D.C.
oh, Jeremy put in there. You're going to probably have to do screen share. Breaking news on Judge has posted the shooter's father's background. You know what I'm going to do? If that's all right
What
with
are you going
you,
to do? What's that?
can you, uh, Jeremy, where did you find that at? Oh, on Drudge. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm pulling up Drudge Report. And the little thing's going round and round and round, so we're waiting for it to load up here. Still waiting. Let's see.
I saw somewhere about a week ago, or could have been a little bit longer. Trying to remember where I saw that. It might be the one that Jeremy's talking about, where the father visited the White House with Obama.
Jeremy, is this the one that says father's new video? Is that the one you're talking about?
I don't know.
Waiting for him to type it up there.
Yeah, you got to give it a second. I'm gonna have to.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to pull it up and see if we can screen share it. Let's see, is there any video on it, or it's just looks to me like it's just an article? Okay, well, just an article. Then I'll just go ahead and read it. It says that this was updated at 11:11 a.m. Eastern Time. The Orlando Gay Club gunman's father has well-known anti-American views and is an ideological supporter of the Afghan Taliban. A new message posted by the father on Facebook early Monday morning also makes it clear he could have passed anti-homosexual views onto his son. Well, apples don't fall far from the tree, do they?
Nope.
Sadiq Mir Mateen, father of Orlando gunman Omar Mateen, who died in a shootout with police after killing at least 49 people early Sunday morning, regularly attended Friday prayers at an Orlando mosque with his son. The video posted early Monday said, I don't know, I'm probably butchering his name. Sadiq Mateen says his son's was well educated and respectful to his parents, and that he was not aware that what motivated him to go into a gay club and kill 50 people. 49. The elder Mateen says he was saddened by his son's actions during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. He then adds, God will punish those involved in homosexuality, saying it's not an issue that humans should deal with. The statement in previous videos by Sadiq Mateen lends some insight into the environment in which his U.S.-born son was raised. Sadiq Mateen hosts a program on California-based satellite Afghan TV station aimed at the Afghan diaspora in the U.S. called the Durand Jagira Show. A senior Afghan intelligence source tells CBS News correspondent Laura Logan that the show is watched by some in people, well, there's their own typo, watched by some people in Afghanistan by the primary audience, but the primary audience is ethnic Pashtun Afghans living in the U.S. and Europe. The Taliban Islamic extremist movement is comprised almost entirely of Pashtuns, and Mateen show takes a decidedly Pashtun, nationalistic, pro-Taliban slant, full of anti-U.S. rhetoric and inflammatory language aimed at non-Pakistanis and at Pakistan, the source told Logan. The name of the show references the Durand Line, the disputed border between Afghanistan and Pakistan that was established in the 19th century by Britain. It has long been the heart of deep-seated mistrust between Afghans and Pakistanis. Sadiq Mateen once campaigned in the United States for current Afghan President Ashraf Ghani, seen as a moderate leader who appeared on his program in 2014, but since then, Sadiq has turned against Ghani in both his broadcasts and numerous videos posted to Facebook account. In his Facebook videos, the alleged gunman's father has often appeared wearing military uniform and declaring himself the leader of a transitional revolutionary government of Afghanistan. He claims to have his own intelligence agency and close ties to the U.S. Congress, assets he says he will use to subvert Pakistani influence and take control of Afghanistan. After watching his videos, none of which were recorded in English, CBS News' Ahmad Mukhtar said it seemed possible that Sadiq Mateen is delusional. You think? He thinks he runs a government in exile and will soon take the power in Kabul and in a revolution, notes Mishtar. The younger tongue-tied. The younger Mateen suspected of the killing in Orlando, suspected? Okay, was said by his ex-wife to have suffered from mental illness. She said she left him just months after they were married, as he appeared to suffer from a mood disorder and would become violently abusive and controlling. Speaking later Monday to the Associated Press Television News, Sadiq Mateen stressed that he did not in any way support his son's actions. He says he would have arrested him myself had he known of plans to commit mass murder. He told APTN it was a painful time for him as a father. He did not make any remarks regarding his or his son's stance on homosexuality. ISIS has claimed responsibility for the attack in Orlando, landing brother Omar Mateen, one of the soldiers of the Caliphate in America, for the killing. Thus far, however, there has been no indication that Mateen had any tangible connection to the terrorist group prior to the shooting spree. There you have it.
And they're not watching the father. Very interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
The father should have been locked up a long time ago, and so should the son. And what are they going to do about the father now?
Nothing.
I mean, if he's supposed to be in charge of all this stuff over in Pakistan and Afghanistan and all this, ship him back over there. If he's dangerous, lock him up.
Yep. I agree.
I mean, hell, Pete's in jail. It's all he was armed with was a camera in his mouth. And they deemed him to be dangerous. And this guy's running loose? Seriously.
Yeah, look, hold on. We got breaking news coming across. ABC reports gunman kills 2, wounds 6 in Mexico baseball field attack. And then I've seen something wrong with that. Ah, so there's a shooting in Mexico now. Which that's the norm for over there, I'm assuming. I'm just going through right now looking at the what is breaking right now on here. Sorry guys, we're just trying to catch up here because I'm behind a little bit. I had issues this morning. Why not you? Donald Trump is supposed to make a major speech this afternoon at 2 o'clock.
Who's that?
Excuse me?
Who was supposed to make a speech?
Donald Trump is making a major speech on this afternoon at 2 o'clock from New Hampshire.
Well, that ought to be good.
They're not saying too much about
I'd like
it.
to hear what he's got to say about it.
I want to let everybody know too, because as I was searching today or this morning, I came across an article that is being reported in Israel out of their newspaper, and I think it's pretty interesting. And then we're not being told about this, and after I read it, I want to ask everybody: is there something coming we need to worry about? NATO chief said Monday that the allies will, NATO allies will send 4 brigades. Now, brigades, how many of them? Doesn't say how many. Brigades to the Baltic states and Poland to boost their defenses against Russia. Now, we're part of NATO, but it's not telling you how many troops or any of that. Is there something that we should be worried about in the Baltic states right now?
Yes.
And mainstream media is not telling us.
Well, they're not telling us because they're about to start World War III over there is what they're doing.
I don't know. Yeah, I just thought I come across that and I'm reading it. There's 4 battalion NATO alliance next week will send 4 battalions. Now, 4 battalions, is that 20,000 troops each battalion? If anybody can answer that, I'd like to know, because I have no, it doesn't say exactly the number. And because we're part of NATO, how many of our guys are going over there? Which I know I think we still had a base over in Poland. I'm not sure. I think we do. Not sure.
Oh, let's see here. I'm going to see if I can pull it up here on Google, see if it'll tell me. How many troops make up a brigade, battalion, company, etc.? That should tell me. Let's see. Battalion is a combat unit of 500 to 800 soldiers.
How many?
500 to 800 in each battalion.
Oh.
It's the thing I pulled up here says a company typically has 100 to 200 soldiers, and a battalion is a combat unit of 500 to 800 soldiers. 3 to 5 battalions, approximately 1,500 to 4,000 soldiers, comprise a brigade.
Huh.
The size of a division varies from about 10,000 to 18,000 soldiers, and most divisions have 3 or more brigades of roughly equal size. A corps, which consists of 2 or more divisions and support troops, normally has from 50,000 to 100,000 soldiers. Artillery groups are known as batteries, and groups of cavalry are called troops. The division is the basic fighting unit of many armies. Divisions include infantry, armored, artillery, and engineers, who are sometimes considered combat troops. Divisions also have support troops for transportation, medical care, and other jobs.
Huh. Very interesting.
So there you have it. That is from the Orlando Sentinel. And it's an article called America at War, Understanding the War.
Oh, we've been at war.
Yeah.
You know, and it's here. And it's here. It's on our soil now.
Yep.
You know, and
and they want to take our guns away from us.
Yep. And that's the first thing that they're coming out with is gun control. You know, just wait as this week goes on with Hillary and stuff. I mean, you watch what they're going to say and do. I mean,
yeah.
We got to have more gun control. We have to have this. Well, excuse me, people. Guns don't kill. It's the idiot that's sitting behind the gun that kills. And people need to realize that. Assault rifle. Okay, what's an assault rifle? It's a gun. It's not an assault rifle. It's a gun. If I come up and push you, that's an assault. If I come up and poke you in the eye, that's an assault. I mean, they're making every damn excuse possible about the guns.
Well, it's like saying that your fork makes you fat.
You know, I think I think one show we're going to focus on this gun crap because there's some videos that I found that's very interesting and we can share them. You know,
yeah, I think that would be good. That would be educational for people to see some of that. But yeah, this goes to the mentality that your fork makes you fat. If you believe that guns kill people, guns don't kill people. People kill people. Back on the 9/11 thing, they had those guys on the airplanes, or so they say. You know, depending upon which narrative that you want to believe on all that. But they say that they attacked with box cutters. So are we going to make box cutters illegal now?
Why'd you make a car illegal? Why?
Yeah, ball bats, pocket knives. You know, we just make all that stuff illegal.
Where has all of these mass shootings have occurred? Where have they occurred the most? Gun-free zones. The people that they know are carrying. I'm not going to go in there and do anything. They're carrying guns. They can shoot back, but I'm going to go across the street because that's a gun-free zone, and I know they can't shoot back, so I'm going to go over there.
Well, sure. I mean, you know, how about maybe I've got a neighbor that don't believe in guns, so I go over there and just post a sign in their yard saying, one arrow pointing at that house saying does not or believes in gun control, and then an arrow pointing in my house saying does not believe in gun control. Now, if there's going to be somebody rob the house, which house do you think they're going to pick?
Yep. Well, not too long ago, they had a reporter from the New York Post, and I remember this one out on Long Island, where somehow she got the addresses of all the people in a neighborhood that had guns and all the addresses of people that did not have guns, and she posted it in the New York Post newspaper. So the whole world got to see these homeowners that didn't have guns and show the ones that did have guns. What the hell do you think? That's, I mean, it's funny, but not funny because people really got mad about that.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. Amazing. And I try to talk, I talked to some people and I said, here, Look at all your inner cities that are run by liberals, libtards, as I call them. Look at all them inner
Yep.
cities. What the hell do they look like? They look like war zones, third world countries. But these
And
people,
yet, people think that they're going to vote for a socialist,
yep,
and things will all just miraculously get better. I think that's called the dumbing down of America. Everybody wants something for nothing. Everybody wants to just have everything handed to them and not have to work for it. They don't stop to think, where does this come from? Where's all the money and all the goodies come from?
yep.
Because if everybody gets on that bandwagon, where does the money come from when nobody's paying taxes to support it?
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, I went online and you look back in the 70s, 80s, some of these cities like Chicago, Detroit, they were thriving cities. Now, holy crap.
Well, yeah, the jobs have been shipped overseas, to Mexico, and then to top it off, they want to take the farmland away from the farmers. Farming used to be the backbone of America. We used to ship grain. I can remember as a kid, my dad was a farmer, and I can remember him reading articles and talking about how we shipped grain all over all over the world to countries, and there was stockpiles of grain that was brought on by the American farming industry. We traded for goods all over the world, and now they've taken all the land, turned it over to the BLM. It's been sold off to China and Uranium One and all these entities for the mineral rights, and we're not allowed to farm it. And then they want to say, okay, if you want to graze it, if you want to put livestock on it, then we're going to charge you for doing that too.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's no wonder that the Bundys and the ranchers are standing up and saying, no, you're not going to do that to us anymore. It has to stop.
It's not going to stop. That's the sad part. That's the sad part. This is going to be the front story for maybe the next 24 hours to 48 hours on the mainstream media. Then this story is going to be put on the back burner, and everybody's going to go back to concentrating on, oh, Jesus, did you hear what Donald Trump said? Oh, my God. How about Bernie Sanders on what he said? Oh, how about come on, people. Hillary Clinton should be.
Well, I have a different idea, Pat. We got 3 more weeks of Ramadan, and we have ISIS saying that they're going to strike 6 cities, and one of them they've struck. So, yeah, I think in a way you're right. That, okay, people go back to focusing on the election stuff, but that is only until the next strike. I don't think they're done. I think ISIS is going to keep going.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're here. Get used to it. They are here.
Everyone needs to be extremely alert no matter what they're doing. If you're getting on any airplanes between now and the 5th of July, you're taking your life in your own hands, because they'll strip search you at the airport. They'll go through everything you've got, and they'll let ISIS come right on the plane with you and just wave at them and grin. Mm-hmm. It won't do nothing to them. If you're going to the mall, you're going to any shopping centers, you're going to any movie theaters, you're going to any public places where there's any kind of crowds, you better watch yourself. Even restaurants, cafes, that sort of thing. I mean, I'm not saying to be scared and hide. I'm saying if you're going anywhere, you better be alert and be watching everything around you.
Be vigilant. Be very vigilant of your surroundings. Look over your shoulder. I mean, it's hard. It's bad to say. You're going to have to do that. Especially the folks that are in the big cities. Be
Well,
vigilant.
yeah, even if you're not in a big city, even if you're in a suburb, you know, you never know where them people are going to strike, because they'll strike where they think that it's least likely to get caught, but where there's a crowd big enough that it's going to cause quite the stir. Um, if you don't pay attention, if you get caught in the drama, you're going to be a statistic.
Yep. It's sad that we got to live this way. You know, got to look over your shoulder. There's just so much stuff you got to do nowadays, where before you never had to worry about it. But thanks to this idiot, and I know I'm going to probably take heat for this, and I won't call him my president. I'm not going to anything. He's a friggin' moron. And it's not because of the color of his skin. He's a friggin' moron. What he's done to this country is just totally disgusting. And these friggin' libtards out there think he's the greatest thing of mankind walking.
I find it very interesting that George Bush, when he was president, 9/11 struck and all that, and was talking war, you know, a lot of people didn't really want to go to war. And he said, well, look, if we don't fight them over there, we'll be fighting them over here. Well, we fought them over there, and now they are over here. There was a change of presidents 8 years ago, and for reasons that escape my imagination, we voted a Muslim into office.
Yep.
And then stand around scratching our heads wondering, how in the hell did this happen? Are you kidding me? Did anybody read his book? Has anybody been paying any attention at all to what we put in there?
Nope. And you're right. I'm going to answer. Yes, I do agree with you, Jeremy. We should continue to do what we need in our lives. Don't stop because of these morons. But we just have to be vigilant on our surroundings. Go out. Do your normal stuff. I agree with you on that. But just be vigilant. These idiots are looking, I'm telling you, they're looking for the softest targets to hit. These gun-free zone, liberal towns or cities. That's where they're going to hit. Just look at what's happening. Just look at the major cities. All these mass shootings, these killings, and this and that and that and this is happening in all these gun-free zones. They're not going after the harder targets, the harder urban, whatever you call it, where they know people are packing. You know, I don't know what it's like by you, Brenda, but out here where I'm from, somebody's carrying.
Well,
and these cowboys ain't afraid to shoot back.
We have a mix of people here in the Midwest, from what I have seen. You know, you have some liberal people and you have some conservative. There's not a whole lot of median. You know, it's either one way or the other. The people that believe in the Second Amendment, you know, they tend to have quite a few weapons, and they don't like being messed with. And then the other ones that are what you want to call the kinder and gentler souls, that, oh no, you know, we can't have weapons, we're afraid of guns. And I'm like, well, are you afraid of the robber that's going to come and knock you in the head and rape you or kill you, or Lord knows do what to you, and you don't have anything to defend yourself with? And you know, it's like they're an ostrich. They stick their head in the sand. It's not going to happen to them. It can't happen to them.
Yep. And I get tired of these stupid questions that some of these media people. Well, how did they get the gun? Where'd the gun come from?
The FBI gave it to him.
Go to any street corner in a major city and you can pick up a gun. Throw the guy $100 and you got a gun. Serial numbers shaved off it and everything. I mean, are these people that dumb? Just go. I mean, crying out loud. And then I hear, this is the best one yet. There was somebody, and I can't remember where it was, but Fran, my wife, told me this one. People are bitching. Oh, they got the hospital locked down. We can't get in to see what's going on to do it. You know, blah, blah, this and that. Hey, listen, moron. I agree with locking down the hospital because they don't need morons like you sticking a camera in a mother's face or a father's face that's losing their kid. Some of these people in the media are just dumbasses. Man, I was so fired up last night, Brenda. I was like, these people, some of the questions, you know, and I saw this firsthand on 9/11. Well, how does it feel knowing that there was lives lost? Hey, jackass, what kind of question is that? It's just mind-boggling on the questions that some of these people ask. Give these people time, you know, give them time just to clear their heads. But you go everywhere and look on CNN, Fox, MSNBC, any of them. They're sticking cameras and microphones in people's faces. It's like, well, tell us your story. Tell us how you feel. How do you think they feel, you jackass?
Well, that's how the major media works, though, Pat. You know, that's they have to have some kind of a story to put out there, you know, because everybody wants to know. You know, everybody's wondering, you know, what happened? Tell us what happened. What did you see? And, you know, it's not enough for them to report that there was a shooter. The police shot him. Before they could shoot him, he was holding hostages, so it took a little while for him to get to him. He killed 49 people and injured 52 others inside this nightclub. Here's the name of the nightclub. Here's the location of the nightclub. And that's all we have to report at the present time, and we'll give you more later. Instead of harassing the people that are in shock from such a tragic event. But that's the mentality of the media.
You know, now they're trying. It's funny because now they're sitting back, and I'm kind of laughing about. Well, we're going to psychological analyze this man. Why would he do such a thing? But he was a good boy. He was a good person. The guy's a scumbag. He just killed 49 people.
He made the 9/11 call and said that he was associated with ISIS. I mean, what else do you need?
It's just funny. It's just funny. Even at
now,
some of the press.
I would like to know. I would like for them to actually have somebody that knows what they're doing and can dissect that audio from the 9/11 call and make sure that it is not doctored in any way once it's released. Because there's a lot of audio programs and people that know what they're doing that they can really doctor them up and make it, you know, sound like they can say anything you want the thing to say. But if they can ever prove that is an undoctored audio from the 9/11 call, that would be an interesting one to hear.
Yeah, that would be interesting. They're going to spin this narrative to the gun issue, and it's going to be interesting on how far they carry this spin on this, because now the people's emotions are running high, and right now in Florida more than anywhere, but in the gay and lesbian community, emotions are running high in there, and there's a lot of how would you say it, hatred right now. So we got to pay attention to that, but I'm more interested on how far they're going to spin this.
Well, instead of it being spun to take Second Amendment rights away, why isn't it spun to get the ISIS cells and the ISIS supporters out of the United States?
Uh-huh. You know,
that would make far more sense to me. You know, if they know where these cells are, if they know who these people are. I mean, the FBI talked to this guy 3 times. You mean to tell me talking to him 3 times had not uncovered the fact that he was an ISIS supporter? Are you kidding me? And look at the father.
now, here, he worked as an armed security transport company. All right, transport, I believe it was G4S, whatever the company, but they transport illegals back to the border or something to that effect, or whatever they do, are part of Homeland Security, I believe.
They was bringing them in here. They wasn't taking them back to the border. They was bringing them into the United States.
Well, you know what I mean. But he had something to do with that. And he also was known, and the wife said this, that he worked as a corrections officer in a juvenile detention center. And he wanted to become a cop. Well, thank God he didn't become a cop. It's just interesting to go back and look at his background. I mean, it's very interesting. I'm going to do more on looking at the background on this guy. And I'm not even going to say his name. I'm just going to call him, he's a dirtbag. That's all he is to me. If people get offended by what I say, I don't care right now. He's a dirtbag. He's a scumbag. Took innocent lives that did not deserve to die. I'm sorry. Whether you're with what they, you know, I always said, I don't care what your race is, your religion is, your beliefs are, but you don't have a right to kill people. I'm sorry. Not innocent people. You want to pull the trigger on yourself and put it in your mouth and blow your brains out, go right ahead. I'll clap for you. But don't go and take innocent lives. I was kind of fired up last night just listening to all this stupid madness crap and the mainstream media, you know. And it's funny. Everybody got down and on Chris Christie because he would tell a media person, shut up, sit down, you don't know what you're talking about. Or, I didn't recognize you yet. When I come to you, you can ask me a question. You know, that's somehow, you got to talk to some of these idiots in the media that way because they don't get the point. Just like in the news thing yesterday, the chief of police said, we're not going to take no questions until we are done. And he wasn't even done with his statement, and you had 2 morons from the press starting poking him for questions. What did he just say? You know, I know the media, you got to get the news out. You want to be the first to get the news out because your job says you have to. You have to because of our rating numbers. I get that. But use your brains, people. Come on. That just irritated me, sticking cameras in families' faces that are trying to get into the hospital to see what is going on with their loved ones. And we got to have a jackass sitting out there. Well, what do you think? What's going on? How do you feel? Man, get away from me before I smack you upside your damn head. It's just mind-boggling to me. I'm sorry. I want to do a tirade on mainstream media so bad. I just want to go off on them because they're the problem too. They instigate this shit. They're instigating the division in this country. The racist division. All 3 of those major networks got some form of a racist moron on their program. But nobody wants to say nothing about it.
Well, the media is run by the corporations. The media are just puppets. They do whatever the corporations tell them to do. If they want to get paid, if they want to have a job, And I have no doubt, but what they're all probably paid very well for, the service they provide. Uh, I don't agree with the service they provide. I think that there should be a lot more compassion. There should be a lot more truth. That's why we've had to come up with alternate media, and we're not paid nothing. But you know, at least we're trying to spread the truth and make people think. But yeah, they're puppets. They're all run by the corporations. The corporations are run by the major banks, central banks, as well as the government. And that's why we have to pay a lot more attention to the people that we put into office and make sure that they understand, look, you're being paid on the side, your extra money coming from the big corporations, but you're also being paid by taxpayer dollars. You represent us. And if you're not representing us, then we'll have to see what we can do about taking that job away from you and putting you back out here with the rest of us taxpayers at the mercy of whoever's in that office.
Just the way they spin their BS, and they're spinning it now. They got all these stupid experts coming on. Well, yeah, we got to get stricter on the gun laws. We got to make it stricter. We got to go after the manufacturers. We got to, you kill somebody, we're going to sue the manufacturer. Are you friggin' kidding me? I mean, just like yesterday, they're trying to dissect this guy's brain. The hell with dissecting his brain. He's a friggin' moron jerk. And that's where we need, as Americans, we got to come up and stand together. And I'm going to preach this and preach it and preach it. We need to stand together and tell these dirtbags that we're not taking this crap anymore. We don't accept your beliefs. We don't want it here, period. If you're going to come here, you get accustomed to the way of our life and our laws. Horse shit with this damn Sharia law crap. It doesn't belong here at all, period. And all of us need to come together and speak out on this crap. Go back and look at what's happening in Germany, France, every place over in Europe with these morons with this Sharia law crap, what they're doing to women, to children. And their beliefs, Jesus Christ, that they're in their beliefs. Oh, we can marry a 12-year-old girl over there, but you want to bring that crap here? Horse shit.
When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
It don't belong here. And
Well, Pat fell off a turnip truck again. He's he's probably fiddling around trying to find out where he ended up. He went into some kind of a tailspin. But yeah, it's when in Rome, you do as the Romans do. You don't go to let's say you go back to Mama's house. You're all grown up. You've moved out. You go back to Mama's house. But now you start trying to tell Mama how she's supposed to do things. Mama ain't going to be too happy about it. You don't go to Mama's house and start telling her how to do things. She'll whoop up on you. And it's the same way. You come in this country, you don't come in here telling us how we're going to run things.
Mm-hmm.
You come here, you live by our rules, you live by our laws, you do as you're supposed to do. Now, as an American, I'm not real happy with the way things are here, and I think I'm not alone in that. But as Americans, we have the right to change it. If you come here as an immigrant legally and you want to change citizenship, you can join in helping us change things. But you don't come here and start telling us how to do stuff. Ain't nobody going to come in my house and start telling me how to do things. If they don't like it here, they can get back out the door, or they can, pick up and start doing whatever it is they think needs to be done. You know, you don't come in here bossing me, telling me what to do. And it's the same way with my country. You don't come in here telling me how I'm going to do things. That don't work.
We have to come together.
Welcome back, Pat. Did you have a nice trip?
I'm getting ready to throw out the window. Yeah, you're 100% right. You know, we don't want it here. So take your crap and go back to where you belong. You know, do you think for 1 minute American women are going to sit back and let these dirtbags tell them, oh, you got to cover up? Oh, we can rape you and there ain't nothing you can do about it. Really? Try that shit on American women over here. I guarantee it, there's going to be some that are going to whoop the hell out of you.
Try going over there and telling them how to run things.
Yep. I mean, it's just amazing that they talk this crap and everybody just wants to overlook it. I'm sorry, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but that is a cult, period. The Muslim shit that they are doing is a cult faction. That is my opinion. And you're damn right I get mad when you come over here and you kill innocent Americans. I take issue with that. And everybody should be up in arms. Not just a few, but every single American citizen should be up in arms. Calling these mainstream media people out. Hell, Fran has done it several times. Call them out. You know, this is just totally nonsense what is happening to us as a people in this country. And we're falling for the bullshit that the mainstream media is telling us and the politicians are telling us. And I've had it. And I wish more and more people feel the same way and start speaking out. You know?
Well, that's what we're here for, Pat. We're here to spread the word, and hope everybody will like and share this, because the more you like and share and you get people watching it, maybe the seeds will be planted. You know, we're looking for fertile ground. There's always going to be some seeds that fall by the wayside and, you know, just go to waste. But there's plenty of them that'll go to fertile ground, and people will listen and think, you know, they're right. They got a point there. Not everything we say is going to be something that everybody agrees with. You can't please all the people all the time. But if we just please some of the people some of the time and let them start understanding what is actually happening, get away from their television sets, get on social media, listen to some of the alternative media and the things that we're digging out, the nuggets that we're digging out to get the truth.
Yep.
So that we start getting our country back. I think that's very important, so that we turn this thing around. I mean, perhaps it's too late. I don't think it's too late. I think if we keep allowing what is transpiring in the Capitol to go on, it will be too late, and it will be too late soon. But the more of us that are paying attention to this, and we start shaking the trees of the Congress and the Senate, see, they work for us. It's not the other way around. We don't work for them. It would appear that way since, you know, our tax dollars go to support them. But the way the whole thing was built is that they work for us. They do what we tell them to do. Now, it is a majority rule for the most part if they are representing us when they make their votes. There's going to be some people in their constituency that wants things one way and some people that wants things another way, but they need to be going by a general consensus. But how are they getting that general consensus? Are they guessing at it? Or are they just going by what they want to do because ain't nobody telling them otherwise? We need to be telling them people what it is that we want done. We need to find out, okay, what kind of orders are you voting on next? What's your House bills? What's your Senate bills? We need to educate ourselves on what they're doing, and we need to find out, because there's not any line vetoes on this stuff, so we need to find out what all's been put into that thing, because they always get rewritten a million times before they actually do come to a vote, so that they can get all this extra crap added into it. We need to be reading this stuff. We need to be finding out. We don't vote things through so then we can find out what's in it, like Pelosi said. No, it does not work that way. And I will also add this while I'm thinking about it. If you have not read the Obamacare paperwork, you need to pull it up. It's on the web. You need to pull it up and you need to read that. I'm surprised at how many people have not read it and have signed up for it. You need to read it. It is an amazing read.
You really want me to throw my computer out the window? Oh, man.
Here's an example. I was at the dentist here a while back to get my teeth cleaned, and they're talking to me about insurance, and they said, you don't have any insurance? I said, no, I don't have any insurance. And they said, well, you can sign up for the Affordable Health Care Act. And I said, are you kidding me? And they just looked at me like, what seems to be the problem? I said, have you read it? Do you know what's in it? And, well, no. And I said, well, then you should read it. You should educate yourself before you go telling people that they need to sign up for it, because I believe that you're probably intelligent people. And if you read that thing, you'll know why people shouldn't sign up for it. And they just kind of stood there with their mouths hanging open, and that was the end of that discussion. I don't know if they actually read it or not, but you should. You ought to read it.
Exactly. It's just amazing. You listen to all these horror stories anymore, and you gotta just turn a blind eye for just a little bit, just to get your mind adjusted to what's going on and stuff. It's overload, But I'm telling you, you would just wait. Give it 48 hours. This story is going to go to the wayside, and they'll be focusing on something else next. Oh, Trump said this.
Trump said this, or there's another attack, or I think we'll also be talking about gun rights, because Gabby Gifford and some other elected official was jumping on the bandwagon yesterday about the, trying to take the Second Amendment rights away. And, they're going to be really hitting that hard. And the more of these ISIS attacks that happen in the next 3 weeks, it's just going to add more and more fuel to the flame.
Yep, exactly. Damn, I really didn't want to go down this road, but I'm going to do it anyway. What the hell? Everybody has a right to vote for whoever they want to vote for. Everybody has a right to have a candidate that they really support. But there ain't no way in hell that this witch, Hillary Clinton, deserves to be president of this country. A while back, I thought the Kennedys were the biggest corrupt family, and the Bushes were second. But I tell you what, the Clintons are number one. If this becomes president, say goodbye to the First Amendment and the Second Amendment and the 14th Amendment. She is going to shred the Constitution. You don't believe me? Listen to her speeches. A war on women? No, Hillary, you have a war on women. How much do you pay your staff, your female staff? The Clintons are the ones that have the war on women, nobody else. And I'm tired of hearing that crap. People, if she gets in, we are done as a country. The Clintons have sold us out time in and time out. But yet, for God only knows why, people are supporting her. Are they just too dumb or just blind? Oh, wait a minute. We get freebies.
Pat, did you hear about all the stuff that, well, okay, let me back up on that. Did you hear about Hillary's interview where she was talking about how when her and Bill left the White House that they were almost bankrupt and they were in extreme dire straits for money?
Yep. Yep. And that's a joke.
Yeah, she gave that talk, and and what I found fascinating about all that is, okay, so you guys were about broke when you left the White House, and you had stolen over $200,000 worth of furniture and goods from the White House that you had to pay for. When they figured out what all you had taken and made a list of it, you had to pay for all that. And then you went to giving these speeches where you're charging astronomical amounts of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars to give speeches, him and her both. And then there was the books that they wrote and sold and got all the money. Am I supposed to feel sorry for them?
I sure as hell don't. Pete, and I also want people to realize something, and it's my belief. That stupid witch has her hands all in Oregon, in Wyoming, Utah. Her hands are so deep into those states. It's pathetic. Go look.
Well, yeah, she's all wrapped up in that Uranium One business out there. You know, that's her baby. And then there's the Benghazi thing. You know, she belongs in prison. That's all there is to it. She belongs in prison. And anybody that understands anything should know that she belongs in prison. There shouldn't be nobody thinking about voting for her. I can't imagine the mentality of anybody that would want to put her in office after what she's done. I don't care if she's Democrat, Republican, Independent, Purple People Eater, you know, whatever she is. She's a criminal.
I'm telling you now, Obama will not let any prosecution come to Hillary because he knows if they try to prosecute her, she is going to squeal like a dirty, rotten whore pig. She is going to squeal, and she's going to bring every last one of them down with her. She's not going to go down alone on this. That's why they're fighting so hard to make sure she gets in because, I don't know. You know, I hear people saying, you know, what is it? I'm not saying Donald Trump's going to be the greatest savior. I'm not saying that, people. I am not saying that. But the reason people do not like Donald Trump is because he tells it how it is. He's telling you what's happening. Wake up. Everything that Donald Trump is saying, we were told years ago when Ross Perot was running for president. Ross Perot told us this shit was coming, what was happening with the Clintons and everybody. We were fair warned. We have another one now that's speaking up and telling us. But everybody's going to hate on him. Donald, let me tell you something. That man is not racist. He is far from racist. I grew up out there. I seen the work that man's done and how he reached out to help people. But nobody talks about it. But we're going to condemn him because he tells you how it is. And you don't want to hear the truth. Go ahead.
Well, I just pulled up on Google about Trump's speech, and what he has been quoted as saying so far, he hasn't made the speech yet, obviously, but it's what has happened in Orlando is just the beginning. So that will be a very interesting speech to listen to. I guess he's going to be on in about 25 minutes, so we'll probably need to wrap it up here pretty quick so that everybody, can go to the refrigerator and whatever. But yeah, go ahead. I'm just saying, we don't want to strap everybody. I'd like for everybody to at least hear what he says. Even if you don't agree with it, you need to listen and educate yourself.
I want to answer Jimmy Cox's statement. Jimmy, I'm not saying that Donald Trump is Ross Perot. I understand that. But what I'm trying to get at is Ross Perot told us, if you go back and listen to him, we were fair warned what was coming down the road, and nobody listened to the man. They went as far as threatening his family to shut him up. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying Donald Trump is Ross Perot. But everything he said is coming true, what Perot said. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead, Brenda.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that Trump is the best thing for America, but given what we have to choose from, I would take him over socialism. Mm-hmm. I would take him over a criminal. Other people may not agree with that, but that's right. Their prerogative, and that's why we have a voting system. I'm open. I've always tried to keep a very open mind on things and listen to what everybody has to say about it. And I've listened to Bernie, and I know that he wants to give everything away, and it's all going to be paid for out of the tax dollars, which means taxes are going to go up. If you're working, let's just say for an example, just to keep numbers around, you're working for $10 an hour, and right now you're paying, say, $3.50 of that out for taxes. Well, by the time he gets done with you, you're going to be paying $7.50 of it out for taxes, and what do you have left over? And you're saying, well, what difference does it make as long as I'm paying money into the system and I'm getting everything for free? But you're not getting everything for free because they're going to have all kinds of restrictions on, okay, you got a job. Well, since you got a job, you don't qualify for this, that, and the other thing. So you're a slave. You're a slave paying taxes to support people that aren't working.
Yep. I gotta ask this question, okay? And I got to talk with some other people on this because I need this to be explained to me. Voting no contest or no confidence or whatever it is, ain't you voting to support someone? How did you say it? If everybody votes that way, we're going to end up with Hillary. And everything that we're trying to do here to fight for is over. If Hillary Clinton gets in office, everything that we have worked for, every last one of us, what Pete has worked for, what Ammon's worked for, is gone. It's over. It's done. Mark my words. It's my opinion. But you watch, if she gets in, everything that we have worked for, Jeremy, Mike, Lori, everybody, it's over. Because the First Amendment's going to be gone and the Second Amendment's going to be gone. That's all I'm saying. That's just my opinion, guys.
Yeah, I agree with you, Pat. I think that you're dead on with that. You know, some people call that throwing your vote away, but I mean, in one respect, you're not throwing the vote away because at least you're in there voting for your local issues. But by the same token, if you're voting no confidence, then you're not voting for president at all, which is taking away from who, you know, whoever is running, whether, you know, it's Democrat, Republican, Independent, you know, whatever is happens to be on the ballot. I think you need to, you know, be. I hate to say, you know, that doing that is irresponsible, but it is to an extent. You are being irresponsible. The country is going to be run by somebody, whether you like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
So why not take your pick out of whatever is up there? I'm not saying you're voting for the less of two or three evils or whatever is on the ballot, but you have to make a stand. Eventually, you have to make a stand. You can't sit on the fence forever.
Mm-hmm. You know, that's just my opinion, guys. You know, isn't America worth fighting for? So, as citizens, as human beings, ain't it worth fighting for each other's rights?
Do you want to
You
live
know
like
it.
they're living in Venezuela? Do you want to live like they're living in Russia? Do you want to live like they're living in China? Do you want to live the way they're living in the Middle East? Or do you want our country back?
Mm-hmm. You know, we need. I made the offer last night, and I'll stand by that. Whatever side of the fence you're on, I'll reach out to you. Let's talk. But let's come together. We're losing our country in front of our eyes. And if this witch gets into office, just kiss it goodbye. Everything we fought for is over with. And it's sad. It's really sad that so many people are working so hard to try to get people to come together and fight for what's right in this country. As human beings, as Americans, I don't want to lose this fight. I really don't. But we cannot.
Well, we are.
Go ahead.
We are going on the pretense that, you know, that the votes matter at all, because there is something to be said for the fact that, you know, that they're pre-picked and they're just allowing us to go through the motions of going to the polls. You know, let the public think that they actually have a say in this.
Yep.
So, you know, there is something to be said for that. I am trying my level best to hold on to hope that there is value in going to the booth.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess we're gonna bring this show to an end, guys. I want to thank everybody in the chat room: Jimmy Cox, Jeremy, Jay Grady, Doug, all you guys that participated in the chat room. I really appreciate it. So does Brenda. I know we got to work some bugs out on our show. We will. I promise you we will. This is the first one. I promise we're going to get better. And to me, to you guys, and to your families, God bless. Be safe. be vigilant. I do love you guys. Brenda, it's all yours. I'm done.
Okay, Pat. Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody that's in the chat room, because without you folks here rooting us on, it'd just be me and Pat sitting here having a rag tube and passing ideas back and forth between ourselves. And, you know, we need you out there. We need you to share the video and you spread the word. And, you know, we look forward to bringing you whatever is on the agenda, whatever's on the table. And we'll all just kick it around and see what we can come up with every day, and look for brighter days ahead. Remember, you have to have determination, you have to have enthusiasm, and a little bit of skill don't hurt nothing. Everybody go and tune in to Trump's speech, and we may be talking about that some tomorrow. So with that, I'll bid you all adieu, and we'll see you later. Bye.